Jeff in San Francisco. Hey, Jeff, what's on your mind?
Actually, I'm in Kansas City right now,
Okay.
turning my 85-year-old mom to your show on the internet, her iPhone. So,
oh, cool.
I really think you're great.
Thank you.
And I want to talk about, in the Kansas City Star, a woman wrote about how China has high-speed rail, and how I think we could really push Trump on this, because he was big on the infrastructure and other such projects that would benefit us, so we could pull a fast one. I think on him, and I think you've kind of discussed this in the past.
Here's the problem with that, Jeff. Yes, you're right about China. In fact, when they completed, it took them 5 years to build a high-speed rail system that was the equivalent of Chicago to New York City in terms of distance. The trains travel an average of 300 miles an hour. They're maglev trains. They don't even have wheels, right? They levitate. They fly along at 300 miles an hour on a 1/16 of an inch of air, and because of the magnetic force underneath them. And and like I said, they did that in 5 years. If we want to do something like that, if we want to step into the 21st century, or like the VTR, I think it is, the train in whatever it's called in France, or the Deutsche Bahn is, with the IT trains, which I take regularly when I go to Germany. If we want to do that, we really just need to borrow and spend the money. But what Trump has proposed is privatizing all those things. Yes, we will expand. Actually, he hasn't specifically talked about rail other than complaining. But with regard to our roads, what he has said is, let's do a public-private partnership. This is the latest Republican con job. And let's do a public-private partnership. The government will put up $100 million. Private investors will put up $900 million. That's $1 billion. With that $1 billion, we'll repair all these roads. And the investors will now own them, and the government will lose its $100 million. But it only cost $100 million when we get all these new roads. But now that the investors own them, just like Mike Pence selling off the Indiana toll road to a company in Australia, which turned it into a toll road, the investors will now own our infrastructure. And so, yeah, your taxes aren't going to go up, but every time you want to go out on the street, you're going to have to pay a fee. Your taxes aren't going up on your septic system, but every time you flush the toilet, you're going to have to pay a fee. I mean, pick your infrastructure variety. If it's done the way that Donald Trump and the Republicans are proposing, it's going to cost us, frankly, more than if they had simply paid for it out of tax dollars, because there are middlemen in the middle of this thing, the investors, who want to skim their 20% off the top for profit and for expenses and for salaries and for CEOs and for marketing and all that other nonsense. I mean, it's the same thing as healthcare. There are some things that should not be privatized, things that are natural monopolies. We call them the commons, and they should not be profitized or privatized, or both. I mean, privatization should be called profitization. And this is among them. So I agree with you, Jeff, that it would be great if we could shame the Republicans and Trump into bringing our infrastructure even up to 1990 standards worldwide. I mean, in the 80s and 90s was when Germany and France were building all their high-speed rail. If we just went to that, not even going to the maglev stuff that they're doing in China and Japan, if we were just to go to 1990 standards, it would be a good thing. But turning it all into toll roads, no, I'm not a fan of that. Jeff, say hi to your mom for me, and thanks a lot for the call. It's great to hear.